Night Fury. Hi everybody, this is BigPapaGrump from the Board of Doom, filling in for GoldenBoy, and I'm going to be recapping the April 18th edition of SmackDown Live. So we start off with Charlotte. Charlotte came out, was basically complaining that she wasn't automatically made the #1 contender for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Naomi came out, they exchanged words. Shane McMahon came out and Teddy Long the whole thing, and made a match for later in the evening for the #1 contender. It's the kind of, we've seen it before where you have to defeat the champ to get a title shot, so it was a non-title match for later in the show. Charlotte was Charlotte, Naomi was Naomi, Shane was Shane. There was nothing wrong with this segment. Then we get to the six-pack challenge, which SmackDown loves to do six-pack challenges. I have no problem with that. It just seems to be their thing. This one was for a title shot against Randy Orton or Bray Wyatt, although the announcers made it seem like a foregone conclusion it was going to be Randy Orton. This was between Sami Zayn, Jinder Mahal, Mojo Rawley, Dolph Ziggler, Eric Rowan, and Luke Harper. First of all, Harper and Rowan looked awesome in that match, especially Harper. Harper is not getting anywhere near his due right now. I can make an entire video just based on how Luke Harper is getting screwed over. Other than that, it was a solid match, but the big surprise, of course, was everybody thought it was probably going to be Sami Zayn. And towards the end of the match, and the Bollywood boys showed up and interfered, and Jinder Mahal is now your #1 contender. Was talking a little bit earlier with CJ Truth about this one, where we're both showing a little bit of concern with how they're going to play his character. You're going to do a much better job if you just make Jinder Mahal annoying on his own, and he just happens to be from another country, as opposed to he's a heel because he's a foreigner. But if you try to kind of play off of what else is going on in the world, you could end up just killing his momentum. Let him be the heel he was when he was in NXT, when he challenged Seth Rollins for the NXT title. That, you know, he was just arrogant and annoying, and that's what works. It didn't, you know, he played up his ethnicity as something he took pride in, but he didn't. That's not what makes me a bad guy, kind of thing. So it was kind of nice to see Jinder Mahal. It's like, hey, you know what? You're giving a guy a shot. Let him run with the ball. Everybody else that was in that match will be fine. I don't think, although Sami Zayn's eaten 2 pinfalls in 2 weeks on SmackDown, but so basically it's business as usual from when he was on Raw. But he'll survive. Everybody should be able to survive that. And let's see what Jinder Mahal can do. I don't really think it's going to be an overly compelling match against Randy Orton. But if you're going to push him near or to the main event picture, you know, that's one more hopefully credible heel you have. So then at the end, you know, he cuts his promo. Randy Orton comes out. They start jabbing back and forth a little bit verbally. And then Bray Wyatt comes on the screen. And this is kind of where, you know, I love Bray, but he overshadowed Jinder Mahal's win. I think that should have been a separate segment where maybe Randy came out and was just talking trash by himself, and then Bray Wyatt comes up on the big screen. Since they've been basically using Bray Wyatt and big screens exclusively since before WrestleMania. Then you had the #1 contenders match of sorts between the champ Naomi and Charlotte. Charlotte was her usual excellent self. I've said it before, Charlotte is top 10 on the roster, period, let alone, you know, defining it by gender. She's just elite among the women. And Naomi still getting better, still improving. I'm not the world's biggest fan of Naomi in ring, but the crowd likes her. She gets good pops. It was nice to see the Charlotte counter the butt thump, the rear view, with a kick. So it's like, okay, yeah, you recognize how stupid a finisher that is too, Charlotte. Way to go. It's nice to see we're on the same page. GoldenBoy's rubbing off on you. I'm gonna let that hang. So, but yeah, it was nice to see that Charlotte, you know, got a clean win off of the champ, so it kind of builds her up credibility-wise. I don't think she's going to take the title off of Naomi immediately. I think they're brewing for a longer feud. But seeing Naomi become vulnerable is a bonus in this. You know, it shows that Charlotte is a force to be reckoned with. She doesn't have to cheat to win, and it shows that Naomi may have her hands full. So it builds, if you're building a babyface champ, you have to put challenges in front of them for them to overcome. So hopefully they'll be able to do that with Naomi and add a little bit more credibility to her title reign. So then we come to American Alpha versus Not the Shining Stars. They are billing themselves as, Epico and Primo Cologne. Nice to see them getting away from the Shining Stars gimmick, even though it was still on their ring attire. And the problem here is that you've kind of lost American Alpha. These are two talented guys that were really over at NXT, and they were really over when they first came up. And they've been booked inconsistently. They've been booked to look weak at times. They can't regain their championship. So I think that it's the dirty tactics and whatnot, kind of protect American Alpha a little bit, but you're building up another credible tag team. So I think that SmackDown is starting to try to make all of their tag teams credible, which is what they need because they don't have a lot of them. There aren't that many tag teams in the company. And when you split them in two, you need all of them to matter, which was a mistake they've made with the Ascension and prior to that, the Vaudevillains. So, and in probably my favorite segment of the night, you had the Kevin Owens United States Open Challenge. I love the fact that he's mocking Cena and he took on a jobber. So it's nice to see that while he's still kind of playing a cowardly heel, he's playing a heel that's cowardly because he can be, not because he has to be. And that's kind of cool. It's a little bit of a tweak from when he was over on Raw when he was the Universal Champion, where he was just a coward. Now he's just pissed off and he does these things just to be annoying. And I like this Kevin Owens. This is the Kevin Owens that was in NXT. This is the Kevin Owens that came up and challenged John Cena and held the Intercontinental Championship and died in that WrestleMania ladder match. But they've gotten away from that. Now they're starting to get back to it. And my favorite Kevin Owens is angry heel Kevin Owens. And then he cut a promo, which was, typical Kevin Owens stuff. He's just trying to get the crowd against him because one of the things is that, the crowd loves Kevin Owens, but they know they're supposed to hate him. So you kind of run that line where the crowd may cheer for him. The pop he got when he won the Universal Championship was incredible, and he was a heel. He's supposed to be despised. So he's working hard to make you hate him. And so it's nice to see that WWE is writing him a lot better than they were. So, and then he went to the commentary table and joined for the match between AJ Styles and Baron Corbin. There's no possible way AJ Styles can put on a bad match, and I'm starting to form that opinion about Baron Corbin. All right, Baron Corbin has been proving that he can hang with the guys at the top of the SmackDown card since he got there. And he hasn't quite gotten his moment yet, but it's coming. And the fact that AJ got a count-out win that involved Kevin Owens when they were able to protect Corbin with by having Styles win via count-out after he threw Styles into Owens, and then they were fighting outside, and Styles just barely made it back in to beat the 10 count. So Styles gets a win, and Corbin is protected because he took a cheap loss. So that kind of helps, and it's adding a little bit of fuel for the fire because you could. You have AJ going up against Owens for the United States Championship, but you keep Corbin in that mix, whether he goes for the U.S. title while he's just waiting in the wings, or whether he goes after Wyatt or Orton or Mahal or whoever has the championship, because Corbin's going to be getting that push soon. So there it was. There wasn't a whole lot on that show, but it was enough. They didn't overdo anything. They told the stories they needed to tell, and I like it. The thing I like about SmackDown is they know they only have 2 hours, so they get as much in as they can without taking away from the performances, where Raw likes it just, we'll just give everybody 5 minutes and everybody gets on TV. SmackDown, not everybody gets on TV. So it's kind of nice to see. So, but yeah, it was a thumbs up for that episode. It was good. It was entertaining. So I've been Big Papa Grump. Like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Hopefully at some point in the near future, GoldenBoy will be doing these recaps. Yeah, talking to you, GoldenBoy.